Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 10 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. So, today we're going to start actually in Los Angeles, and we're going to hit the bold and the beautiful because, oh boy, I'm not too proud to admit I may have been shouting at my TV a little bit today. Let's start with our old friend Eric Forster, who has really let me down. I was hoping he would stick with Katie, but he went back to Forster, and I guess who can blame him? I understand. I understand that part. But then for him to be outraged, I say, that the people who paid him a mountain of money to make designs for them have decided to use his designs. His reaction to that is absurd. Eric, did you volunteer? Yes, you did. Were you paid a large sum of money for your designs? Yes, you were. So, what's the problem? It belongs to Logan. And you have no reason to be outraged because, quite frankly, in this equation, if anything, you're the bad guy. You made a commitment and you decide to take off. No warning. Boom. I've changed my mind. I'm going back to Forrester. The nerve that somehow you thought that just the act of you basically quitting with zero notice meant that you were somehow entitled to keep the designs that you were paid for. Come on. Which next brings me to Hope and her hypocrisy. Because besides the fact that it seems kind of inappropriate for her to be leaning on her husband to try to go and intervene on behalf of the Foresters, Hope, you remember that it wasn't that long ago that you literally stole the entire company from the Foresters? You remember that part, Hope? When you took over Forster and froze everybody else out? Because that is a bit more of an egregious act than keeping designs that you were paid for. So I don't see where you have any leg to stand on. So that was ridiculous. And again, I confess that that may have been one of those moments where I was shouting at my TV. Finally, the part that really, really gets me annoyed is once again Brooke. Brooke acting as if somehow she's the victim here, that she has the moral high ground. How dare Katie steal her name? Brooke, it's Katie's name too, Logan. How dare Katie do this to Eric? No, Brooke, Eric went to them after you guys kicked him to the curb. How dare you steal his designs? No, Brooke, they paid him a lot of money for those designs. Those designs belong to Logan. So what the heck are you talking about, girl? Ah, man, this woman is really getting on my nerves. And I'd like to believe that probably that's the same case for many of you. Because it comes down to a very simple fact. Brooke has always been about Brooke. Already in the short time that we've been meeting to discuss this, I've mentioned it several times. Brooke is all about Brooke. She has no ability to see things from anyone else's perspective. And so either she's tone deaf or she really, really, really is just that bad of a person. Because how she doesn't see the reality of the situation is beyond me. I understand, Brooke, you're very protective of the Forsters. You're loyal to Forster. Fine, I get it. But you're trying to make your sister out to be a villain when in the interaction between you and Katie, Brooke, you've been the one who's been the villain time and time again. Or have you forgotten all those moments when you broke your little sister's heart by going and trying to steal her man from her? So don't bring me this act now that you are somehow above it all and you're the victim. All right, let's go ahead and head on over to Genoa City where I can cool down a little bit with that winter weather in Wisconsin. So, of course, the biggest focus right now is surrounding the kidnapping spree that Victor has been on, kidnapping everybody in town till he gets Newman Enterprises back. So go ahead and start with the situation with Lily and the kids. We saw in today's episode, Friday the 13th, that Kane continues to be in deep distress about the whole thing. And the reason I want to start with that is because I keep asking myself, what is Kane going to do? How is Kane going to react when it comes out that Lily was in on it the whole time? And I remain convinced that Victor has been telling the truth, that Lily is in on it. And as I've said before, that's why he's been so focused on trying to get Chancellor back first, because that's what he promised her, and she's not going to wait forever. So I feel bad for Kane, and bravo to the writers, because whenever you can make a fictional character so sympathetic, whenever you can get your audience to sympathize, to feel bad for, that's a good writing right there. Now, let's go on to this whole situation with Jack's kidnapping, because though I don't have a spoiler for you, I do have predictions. It seems to me that we are seeing the setup for the end of Jack and Diane and the end of Victor and Nikki. They're paralleling each other. They're going in the same direction because Diane is getting ready to bust in on Patty and Jack. And because these are soap opera characters, she's not going to be a very rational thinker about the whole thing. She's not going to probably want to hear Jack's explanation. She's not going to realize that really Jack is a victim here. It's not what he actually wanted. It's clear from what we saw today that Jack and Patty actually are both drugged. But I think that this is very likely going to be the end of Jack and Diane, which now brings me to what I believe will be the end of Victor and Nikki, because Nikki finally seems to have had enough of Victor's shenanigans, which is remarkable considering the things that he's done in the past. After all, don't forget, this isn't the first time that Victor has actually kidnapped Jack and dumped him in the middle of nowhere with a crazy woman. He's done it before. So Nikki has put up with a lot over the years, but I think this is really it. She's finally had it. So if we see at the same time the end of Jack and Diane and the end of Victor and Nikki, it kind of follows that they're getting ready to put Jack and Nikki together. Could be wrong, but that's the indication they're giving us. All right, so to recap, we saw that Eric was outraged for no reason except being a hypocrite. We saw that Hope was outraged for no reason but being a hypocrite. And we saw that Brooke was outraged for no reason but being a hypocrite. And then in Genoa City, we see that Kane is suffering deeply, but the suffering may just be beginning because of what happens when he finds out that Lily was in on the whole thing. And speaking of suffering, there's going to be some suffering between lovebirds because Jack and Diane are probably finished, and so are Victor and Nikki. Well, that's enough for today. We'll continue next time. And, of course, as always, remain bold and restless.